I presume we should begin because we have 30 minutes, 2 hours, and we have a jam-packed program. So can we give ourselves 2 minutes and we begin, if that is okay? Dr. Nikki, I don't know if we can proceed.
There's a lot of people still joining. Okay, I love that you're all posting where you're from. That's nice. If you just say your country, you don't post, you can just say which country you're in. Thank you, Jessie, for your share. It's beautiful. Thank you, Jessie.
I think the session is being recorded right now, so I guess we need to begin this event. If that is okay, then we should begin this event right now. Dr. Nikki, are you ready? Is everyone ready? If yes, please, can I just please begin this event so we can catch up with other International Day celebrations?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Perfect.
Okay, yes, I'm ready.
Ready. All right, so I'm going to start, and permit me to officially open this event of today. And just bear with me 1 second. All right, we are definitely going to be starting right now, and I wish to welcome each and every one of us who has actually answered present in joining us today in celebrating the International Day of Peace. And I'm honored to serve as one of the moderators of this important forum together with Janith, where we come together under this powerful theme, creating a culture of peace. And today is not just about reflecting on peace, but also about committing to actions that build bridges and foster understanding. And this event, that is thanks to the Global Peace Let's Talk, is a unique opportunity to highlight the essential roles that grassroots communities, women, youth, and men play in peace-building efforts globally. As we gather here, let us be reminded that peace is not just a distant goal, but something that starts within each of our communities and countries, driven by collective action and a shared commitment to justice and social cohesion. We have an exciting lineup of speakers who would inspire and challenge us to think deeply about how we can actively contribute to creating a culture of peace. So it is now my pleasure and great privilege to introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Nikki, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the Global Peace Let's Talk. Dr. Nikki has dedicated her life to building peace and advocacy, leading initiatives that promote nonviolent communication and servant leadership. Her work has empowered countless individuals and communities to engage in peaceful dialogue, resolving conflicts, and creating meaningful change. Dr. Nikki's vision for a more compassionate and interconnected world continues to inspire peace advocates across the world. So please, ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Dr. Nikki as she shares her insights on how we can all be ambassadors of peace in our own lives and communities. The stage is now yours, Dr. Nikki. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. So welcome everybody. I'm extremely happy to see so many people from around the world joining this beautiful event today, celebrating International Day of Peace. In the same time, it's difficult to say International Day of Peace because we are a world in such extreme conflict. The wars are just continuing from one country to the other, and people are suffering terribly, terribly. And no one seems to be able to make an intervention to say enough. Let us end this. Let us go sit across the table and find a way so that we can both have a situation where we are happy, that we can live our lives in peace. And it's just horrific. But at the same time, you have this amazing, dynamic, and I call them courageous group of people across the world, even although they are in the worst of conflict situations and they are suffering. These people stand up on their own in their community and they gather people around them and they say to them, let us talk now peace. What can we do in our little group to make a little bit of a difference to everybody that's so filled with pain and fear and hurt, that have lost everything, that are too scared to sleep at night? What can we do? And here you have these incredible, courageous people that then make a difference. You see? So even although the world is in chaos and it's frightening because all of us are thinking, what is going to happen? You have the opposite side. See? Turn it over and you say, but look at this. If that person can on his own stand up and make a difference, and I can also do that in my community, I can also do something to give people the courage and hope, because we cannot give up. We have to push forward. And the more that we push forward, the more we're bringing hope to say, don't go that route. Don't arm yourself. Don't go and get a gun. Don't go and get a knife. You don't have to be in the conflict. You can find a way to make a difference here. So I have got so many case studies of our members that are doing this. I'm so proud of them. That is why I love Global Peace Led Talk, because they're working. They're not sitting, they're working. So in Sudan, you know how terrible the situation is in Sudan. There's nowhere left to go. Where must they go? They're moving from one area to another with only their blankets and sometimes not even their blankets, but they're being pushed out of everything. But in that same country, you have the magic of the people that say, I am going to make a difference. So in Sudan, one of our leaders just started the Women of Sapiens.
It's like we lost.
I don't know. It looks like we've lost Dr. Nikki, but we're hoping that we definitely will be having her back in no distant time. And as we wait for Dr. Nikki to come, just to remind us that we have a very interesting program this afternoon. And I will just go through the program and then while waiting for Dr. Nikki, because that address is something not to miss. And of course, it is something that is going to spur us in our journey towards peace building. And just to let us know that we're going to be having a lineup of speakers, and we have different areas of interest in connection to the topic of today, which is centered around the theme. All right, thank you very much, Dr. Nikki.
Sorry, I just
Sorry we lost
disappeared.
you.
I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
we lost you, but thank God you're back. So we can
you.
now continue listening to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I was sharing with you about the soap story. His way then, International Day of Peace. This is me now. Look what I've done. Even although around me the whole country is falling apart, but I'm still making a difference because I believe there's hope for peace. Look at countries, the DR Congo, it's just so much conflict, and children are being killed and women are being abused. It's horrific. But again, you see, you find this magical person that says, but I can stand up, I can do something. So in that same country with all the conflict, somebody is saying, I'm going to build a peace school. Because education is perfect. Yes, it is. But now the world is changing. So what we have to do now, we need to introduce peace schools. So children from small can learn what exactly does it mean to connect with something that that's peaceful. What can we do? Because even in the DRC, there are different cultures and different communities. So the one hates the other one, and they say, we don't like them, get rid of them. But in a peace school, they will be taught to collaborate. They will be taught to learn from the different cultures. And they will be taught not to have hate. You see? There's a yeah. Okay, so sorry, there's something on the screen. So I can talk about a lot of different countries, people that are working hard to say that my contribution to peace is what I'm doing. This is my little project. And it's not like
Right on, Dr. Because of the way. All right, that's fine. We have her back.
Okay. So today is a celebration. Today is a celebration for each and every person. I know so many. Not the there's something happening in our community that's impacting lives and making a difference. And we are so proud of you because really you are the head. Okay. Sorry, there's like a spook that's hassling me on the
How much you get this one? 2.4. Yeah. Thank you.
Dr. Nikki, are you still there, please?
Okay, I've just got back on. I'm going to do this quickly because it seems to cut off. So I'm just going to round off to tell you this. And it's beautiful. I want you to remember this. Please take it with you in your heart and in your mind. You will know that there were a lot of problems in South Africa during the war, during the apartheid issues. And Steve Biko He was called a terrorist, but he actually wasn't a terrorist. He just wanted peace. He wanted to make sure that everybody in South Africa has a right to a life, the right to live in freedom. That's all. People said, yeah, he was evil. He was never evil. He was an incredible human. But this is what I want you to remember. You can blow out a candle. Easy enough, you just blow it. But you cannot blow out a fire. Once the flames begin to catch, the wind will blow it higher and the fire will just be spreading all over. So all of you today, if I just leave you with this, you don't have to light a candle. Make a fire in you and let it spread and reach out to your communities. Don't give up. Stay brave. Use all your courage, no matter what is happening around you, and just make it happen because you can make a difference. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so very much, Dr. Nikki. Thank you for your inspiring keynote address. Your insights were not only thought-provoking, but also deeply motivating, leaving a lasting impact on all of us with regards to the International Day for Peace and our peace work on the field, and the depth of your expertise in every line that I listened to with rapt attention. And I hope it was the same for everybody. And the clarity which you presented complex ideas were truly commendable. Thank you so very much. You are truly an inspirational leader, and we appreciate your time and effort you took to share this keynote address with us, especially with the key takeaway as we continue to remain veritable peace builders across our various countries and our communities. Thank you so very much. And please, can you give a special round of applause and hands and all the love to Dr. Nikki in the chat room. So we are moving straight away to the next speaker. And I must say, we are so blessed to have her. And we are talking about Miss Christel Bay Chongwine. And Ms. Christel Bay Chongwine will be talking to us today on women as catalysts towards enhancing the culture of peace. And it will be interesting for us to know a little bit about who Ms. Christel is. And I will just read she has a whole lot behind her 39 years of age. And I will just read just what I can in connection to her profile. Ms. Christel is a passionate women's rights activist and an advocate for peace and good governance. And she is the founder of Hope for the Needy Association, HOFNA, an NGO with a mission to strengthen the leadership, power, and voices of disadvantaged women and girls with a focus on community peace building and response to and prevention of gender-based violence. Bay has engaged over 40,000 youths and women in communities across Cameroon using workshops, debates, dramas, and music to address gender-based violence, training peer advocates, traditional rulers, and community counselors who lead the response to and prevention of gender-based violence. She initiated the Women for Women initiative, which has engaged over 400 women leaders across Cameroon, supporting the realization of the purpose of the United Nations Security Council Resolution 1325. And educationally, Bay is a PhD scholar in social policy at the University of Birmingham. She holds an MA in conflict security and development from the University of Sussex, a Master of Arts in social work from Leeds Beckett University, and also works as a social worker with a local authority in West Yorkshire. Let us now welcome Christel Bay with the presentation, Women as Catalysts for a Culture of Peace. Welcome, Ms. Christel.
Thank you very much, Ms. Obarose. And thank you, Doctor, for the very, very brilliant presentation. I've learned a lot, and I hope we can continue to put that to practice so we can build a meaningful and peaceful world for ourselves and future generations. It's a pleasure to be here today to talk about women as catalysts towards a culture of peace. When I look at the word catalyst, it takes me back to the years I started my career as a chemistry teacher. I remember myself talking to students about what a catalyst is, which I want to share today. In chemical reactions, catalysts help to speed the rate of those reactions. But the good thing about catalysts is they themselves don't undergo any chemical change in the process of speeding up those chemical reactions. But now they help the reactions to go faster. So if we are looking at women as catalysts towards that culture of peace, that means women have that capacity to speed up that process. Women have that capacity to transform that process without themselves changing in that process. When I talk about changing without breaking in that process, so this speaks of the resilience of the woman. In terms of what the culture of peace is all about, as defined by the United Nations, we know this is a set of values, of attitudes, beliefs, a way of life that rejects violence, that prevents conflict, that tackles the root causes of issues, solving problems with people working together through dialogue, through negotiation, and so individuals, groups, and nations working together to solve the world's pressing problems. That is what we are looking at. And now, why women? First, in terms of our numbers, women and girls make up a vast majority of the world's population. So in terms of our numbers, we have what it takes, first of all, to lead that transformation, to be that catalyst towards the realization of the culture of peace, which is what the world is looking at, which is what the world needs at this time. If you listen to what Dr. said previously, the world is going through a lot now. The wars, the guns, the violence, the shattered bodies that all of this leaves behind, domestic abuse, conflict-related sexual and gender-based violence. A lot is going on. And now, if there was ever a time that we needed those values, that culture of working together, that way of life that rejects violence, it is now. So besides, women have the capacity, the capability of playing the role of intermediaries. So we are actually very good in building coalitions across political, religious, or ethnic divides, those divides that have been caused by conflicts. So we are able to mobilize a diverse group of people. And these coalitions or these mobilizations form the very foundations for multicultural and intergenerational dialogue, which are very, very vital in building that culture of peace. One of the projects my organization has led in the past was enhancing multicultural and intergenerational dialogue for peace. And we understand how important such dialogues are important, are vital in building that culture. There was a time I did a presentation one time at the US Embassy in my country. And I mentioned that sometimes we might think that young people, for example, have the answers to all the problems in the world, or the elderly people have the answers to all the problems. But in order for us to build that culture of peace, it requires both vision and enthusiasm, a mix of different generations, a mix of different dialogues, so we can continue to build that culture of peace. The strength that women carry is their ability to redefine the concept of security. Of course, in the past, we've known of traditional methods of security that are grounded on the military, that are grounded on guns. But women are championing a new culture of peace by redefining what security means. And that definition of their security encompasses ecological, economic, social, cultural, and personal security. And I will emphasize on human security, which is access to food, This reminds me of a research I did in 2020, asking women, what does peace mean to you? In the course of that conversation, we realized that peace means different things to different people. To some women, it meant trauma healing. To some women, it meant tolerance. To some, it meant addressing those structural inequalities that hinder women's effective participation in peace-building processes. And those structural inequalities that prevent women from actually being the catalyst in the peace-building process, such as gender-based violence, trafficking, inequality in access to education, forced marriages, addressing issues of poverty, promoting economic empowerment and financial independence, and participation in those processes. Women's participation in the women are growing to the point where they understand that they are participating in peace building processes, not just because they are women, but because they have the capacity to transform the peace building landscape. So they are building their capacities, they are building their skills, they know what they are bringing to the table, and they are changing that concept of peace being the absence of war, but the presence of mutual understanding, a platform for dialogue, a platform for tolerance, which is the core, especially at the grassroots level. Another aspect women have been focusing on is on combating war as the ultimate expression of the culture of violence. I've experienced women working to address issues such as violence against women, like what Hofna does and other organizations around the world, and promoting human rights and combating trafficking. So this year's theme of International Peace Day, Cultivating a Culture of Peace, is a gentle reminder of the positive, dynamic, and participatory process where dialogue is encouraged and conflict is solved in a spirit of mutual understanding. In the heart of violent conflicts, like what is going on in most parts of the world, in the northwest region of Cameroon, for example, women are championing those causes and building that culture of peace and calling for a recognition of the role they play in the process. And like I've mentioned, no longer being part of the process just for mix and stir processes or a mix and stir strategy, but a recognition of how transformative their role can be in those processes as catalysts in that process. So as we've understood how catalysts are important in chemical reactions, women are important if we have to build a world that is free of violence of any form. And I'm happy that women are no longer sitting and waiting for them to be brought to the tables. We're actually carrying our chairs to those tables and also creating tables where even if the world does not recognize those efforts, our communities are. So we are generating peace from the local to the global. And just to put this in context of what the doctor has mentioned, as doctor mentioned before, peace that comes from individuals, peace that comes from me to my community, that comes from me to my family, to my community, and to the world. That is the culture women are championing, despite the challenges we are facing. And we hope that today, during these conversations, we can address some of those challenges we are facing and how to come together to address those issues so that the catalyst in peace-building processes, women, can continue to play that effective role for us to realize the big picture of world peace. Thank you.
Many thanks, Ms. Christelle. Thank you so much for your powerful presentation, especially as you focused on the role of women as catalysts in enhancing a culture of peace, especially as this caught my attention when you shared insights from your work in Cameroon, and especially with grassroots women and girls. And your experience and dedication to empowering women in peace building are truly inspiring. Thank you so very much. And the way you highlighted their contributions to fostering understanding and unity was both impactful and eye-opening. So your work, of course, I must say, is a testament to the vital role women play in creating lasting peace, especially in Cameroon and now you're creating an impact globally. Thank you so very much. So if you actually listen to how we wrapped attention and you grabbed something, kindly give us some flowers in the chat room. Thank you so very much. We are so blessed to have had you, Miss Christelle, and we hope to have you again some other time on Global Peace. Let's talk. Moving on, we are going to the next in line, and we have our household name, Janice Pereira, who is a nationally and internationally acclaimed Sri Lankan youth peace advocate, activist, educator, and researcher who holds an MA in education with distinction, of course, from the University of Nottingham, United Kingdom, and a BA Hunt in conflict resolution and peace, of course, around international relations from the University of Colombo, Sri Lanka. And since 2013, it will interest you to know that Janice has been in the field of youth work, volunteerism, and peace building work in several youth-led and intergovernmental organizations, serving in various capacities from volunteer member to director. He has spearheaded several projects, which of course I testify, focusing on multiple sustainable development goals, nonviolent communication and servant leadership, as well as youth empowerment. It will also interest some of us who are just joining us to know that he is also one of the project co-directors of our certificate course in nonviolent communication in global peace. Let's talk, and of course, an executive member. So let's now welcome Janice Pereira, and he shall be speaking on this very important and relevant topic, youth as catalysts for a culture of peace. You're welcome, Janice. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Rose, for your introduction. So I think this is a very important topic. Today is International Day of Peace 2024, and this is a special day for all people around the world because, especially at Global Peace Let's Talk, we are here to discuss about peace and how we can support each other in the attainment of peace within our communities. So I think it's very important to engage young people in this dialogue, especially empower young people to become the catalyst of peace. So I'll start with a little bit of introduction about young people, because young people, that is a certain socio-demographic which is defined in different ways. Young people can be considered to be between the ages of 15 and 24. That is the majorly used UN definition. But based on many socio-political context in the global south, for example, where I'm coming from, Sri Lanka, or if you take the African continent, we can see young people have been defined in various age categories. So basically, I would say, when I say young people, it would be between the ages of 15 to around 35 years of age, because we are discussing about building peace. And especially when it comes to building peace, we see that it's the leaders, mainly those who are more than 35 years old, who are taking leadership, who are initiating and taking leadership of peace processes. But how can we include young people, those who are about 15, 18, 20, 30, 35 years of age into this process, and provide them the empowerment to become the catalyst for change? So I have 5 main points to be discussed in this important online forum. The first point being that young people are agents of change. Now, if I go back a few years ago, I would say a decade or so, young people were not so much, encouraged to be in the peace building processes. They were rather considered as victims or perpetrators. They were not considered as change agents. But in 2015, with the United Nations Security Council Resolution 2250, they brought forward the Youth Peace and Security Agenda. that was from the United Nations Security Council. You know, the UN Security Council is one of the main organs of the United Nations. And they said that young people need to be taken seriously in peace building. We need to acknowledge the important role that young people in their local communities, what they are doing to build peace. So I think that created a lot of, dialogue and discussion about including young people. Now, the importance of young people is mainly because we think that, we understand that there are some conflicts that have been there for years and years, decades and decades, perhaps, more than 50 years, some of these conflicts. Still, we have not been able to find an answer to these conflicts. And today, with technology, with artificial intelligence, especially young people, they are trying to bring forth a fresh perspective. They have the energy, they have a pure idealism, which they can actually convert to realism. That means they want to bring out innovative ideas and try to understand all problems in a new manner, to look at these old problems and find new solutions. So it's very important that we empower young people to contribute towards peace building. And that is pertinent to bring forth change. Secondly, I would like to say, when it comes to young people, they are very good at bridging the divides. We can see that there are so many young people and they are trying to bridge the divides, because we know that in most of our countries, we have, different people uh, trying to bar themselves due to different social, political, religious identities. So how do we ensure that, you know uh, we give them the stage to work together and to bridge these different divides? So young people are there, they are trying to, go beyond the narrow political social identities and to unite. So I think young people can help us find solutions to mainly political and identity based problems. So we need to give them the opportunity to bridge the divides, because we see in most countries political, economical, social issues that are due to certain age old practices. So stereotypes, social norms, stigma, and I think young people are those who are providing the solution, because they are able to bridge the divides and they would like to come together in harmony. Especially if you take the Sri Lankan context where I come from, I find a lot of young people coming together in, trying to get rid of the political identities, religious, ethno-linguistic identities, working together to bridge the divide and to work together for peace and harmony. The third point that I would like to discuss is about advocacy and activism. For the last 10 years, I have been closely working with young people, mainly in Sri Lanka, but also in Nigeria, also in DR Congo, and also in the United Kingdom and USA. And what we have found is that young people are trying to bring forth their own advocacy, activism projects. They are trying to meaningfully engage together with social media, creating a lot of domino effects, making a lot of contributions to the society. So we need to kind of, empower young people and applaud them for the advocacy and activism initiatives that they are promoting. So I think that is very important. Number four, I would like to discuss about several youth-led peace initiatives. We can see all over the world, there are young people starting from the communities. And today, we have our own ambassadors who are going to be inducted later today. There are many young people coming from different parts of the world: Uganda, Nigeria, Kenya, Sri Lanka. Young people, they are trying to start their own initiatives. For example, when we contributed with the uh, certificate course in nonviolent communication and servant leadership, we kind of encourage young people, take up the leadership. You can start your own initiatives. And we can see some of these young leaders, they have started their peace initiatives, focusing on nonviolent communication and servant leadership. So there are many successful youth-led peace initiatives, and that is very important. And finally, I would like to discuss about how we can empower young people. How do we provide them with that empowerment? I think meetings, discussions, dialogues like this is pertinent, because then only we can kind of inspire, empower young people. We can share our knowledge, we can share our insights, and together we can build what I call education for peace, peace education. How we can provide the young people the knowledge, the skills, the attitudes, and the values to become a change maker. I think if they can promote nonviolence, nonviolent communication, servant leadership, critical thinking, dialogue, we can create a better place, a better world. So my message on this International Day of Peace is that we need to include everyone, because I know that the SDG agenda has a 2030 agenda, which is leaving no one behind. So how do we leave no one behind? And that is by empowering young people, encouraging them to take up leadership, to make them involved in the decision making, so that we can move forward with everyone in together to build a better place. So thank you so much for the opportunity, and I hope we can continue this discussion, dialogue, and empower more young people to be in the peace building arena and to contribute towards a better world, a better future, a better society for everyone. Thank you so much.
Wow, thank you so very much. Leave no one behind, and the future is inclusive. And I add that the past, the present, and future should be inclusive. Leave no one behind. Thank you so very much, Janet, for your insightful presentation on youth as catalysts for enhancing a culture of peace. And while listening to you, I discover your passion and dedication to empowering young people. It's very intense, as you're actually using this to call on them to take an active role in peace building. And of course, I must appreciate your work this far in actually grooming the youth across the world. And the ideas and examples, of course, that you shared highlighted the immense potential of youth in fostering understanding and positive change in society. And I'm so thankful that the 5 key things you brought out in your presentation are great takeaways if one must actually be persistent in terms of our work in peace building across our different communities. Your work is a powerful reminder of the impact the younger generation can have in creating a more peaceful world. So please, can you show some love to Janice for this wonderful presentation in the chat room? Thank you, Janice, once again. It was a swell time listening to you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce our next speaker, and he is Dr. Vedabayas Kundu. And Dr. Kundu is a distinguished scholar and practitioner in the field of peace building, with a particular focus on nonviolent communication and conflict resolution. As the program director at the Gandhi Smriti and Darshan Samiti in New Delhi, he has been instrumental in promoting Gandhian principles of peace and nonviolence, both in India and internationally. Dr. Kundu has dedicated his entire career to fostering dialogue, understanding, and mutual respect in communities impacted by conflict. Today, dear ladies and gentlemen, he would be sharing his insights on building peaceful communities, the role of nonviolent communication in conflict resolution. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Vedabayas Kundu to the stage. You're welcome.
Thank you, sister. Thank you, my good friend Janet. Thank you, Nikki ma'am, on all our friends in this whole panel. It's such a wonderful occasion to see all of you. One important point here to start with, let me share with you. It is not just the International Day of Peace, but it is also the World Alzheimer's Day. And also, for the first time today, I realized that today is also the World Gratitude Day. That's quite interesting, isn't it? Because when we are talking of International Day of Peace, it's so very important and so interestingly, intricately linked to the essence of gratitude and thanksgiving. Because gratitude is a very important dimension of nonviolent communication. The whole act of uh, thanking people for whatever they have done. So, friends, also salutations on the World Gratitude Day. Many of us, many of these days, we have several days together, important, and many of us never, we don't have any idea of the other days which are celebrated on that particular, say, 21st September, for instance, today. So, with that important point in mind, here on this International Day of Peace and the World Gratitude Day, it is taking leaf from what our friend Janet now was talking about, the youth and the importance of youth participation in peace building. Incidentally, today morning I was talking to a group of young people, and I said that, okay, it is good to have dialogues and discussions, but also it's extremely important, rather very, very critical to go beyond just our talks to actual work in the field. I was talking to them. There was a concept a few days back I was reading, what is called a slow peace. Many of you probably may be hearing that whole term for the first time. A group of international peace builders have put this whole concept of slow peace in the context of slow violence that happens worldwide. What is slow violence? Slow violence is that it's not direct people coming and killing and things like that. But slow violence is something, something like which is akin to the structural violence as envisaged by Johann Galtung. uh, in different communities, in different ways, there are different expressions of violence that happens in not only in our families but everywhere, and it happens so slowly that we may not be mindful of it many times, but it really affects and affects really maximum those who are the marginalized people, those who are, say, outside the mainstream of the outside or excluded from the mainstream society. So it's extremely critical to be to have total focus on as peace builders to contribute to see how we can challenge these different dimensions of slow violence which penetrates our society, our families, and other institutions. Because of that, many of us are in serious trouble. We may not be affected by direct violence, but we are affected by these forms of indirect violence. So, this group of researchers have talked about what is called a slow peace, in a sense that we have a deep understanding of the different dimensions of this slow violence. And these, after the deeper understanding of this violence, we contribute to see how we can alleviate some of these areas because of which these kind of violence are affecting and affecting especially the people who are at the last segment of the society. And we are using different strategies slowly and very, very in a focused way so that we are alleviate their suffering. So this is a very interesting concept I came across sometime a few days back, and there was this very interesting book that has been brought out, especially in the context of the Colombian conflict. And this peace researcher Angela J. Lederach, she has written this very interesting book on that. Having said that, to my mind, when we are talking of non-violent communication, also it forms part of that. Because you see, very critically, let's see very critically, when our different institutions, right from the family I'm talking about, because especially when we were doing this course on non-violent communication and servant leadership, one of the questions that we were talking about or assignment we had given was on the on issue of family. So right from all, and in fact, before the family, it is at the individual level. The inner conflicts. Many of us are having this whole stranglehold of the inner prisons within us. And because of these inner prisons, there is so much of turmoil, so much of conflict within. And because of that conflict within, we are not able to, interact or reach out to people in the way it should be. That reflects in our interactions with outside people. So, starting from our inner self and the need for inner peace, we go to the level of the family, one of the most basic unit of our life, then to the institutions we may be working or studying, so on and so forth, then other institutions in our society, and then other society at large. So, slowly and slowly, if we are able to make this idea as Sister Oba Rose was talking about when we are talking of non-violent communication, if we can spread the, I should call it as slow and steady way in which we can spread the idea of non-violent communication from our inner self to the family level to the institutions, we will be in a very, very focused way able to resolve many of the small conflicts or issues that that may be the trigger for bigger and larger conflicts. So, non-violent communication has to be looked at as something which helps in resolution of conflict. And as we had also talked in our session before, it is not just uh, we talking, it is action. Everything when we are talking about process of peace building, it is action. Because without action and just talking and discussing, it is important, but we have to go beyond that. The world needs action today, as the world is hungering for peace. World is hungering from peace right from the individual level to the bigger global level. So if I am not at peace with myself, as the Vietnamese Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh said, peace within oneself, peace in the world. So if there is no peace within me, how can I contribute to global peace? So we have to be very, very minutely looking at that point, and that is the most critical point according to me in today's world. My own inner peace, how I overcome my inner prisons, because that is the way I can help in my own transformation, my own inner transformation, my own inner resilience, so that I contribute to peace in the world. So these are the small little things that we need to take care at a very micro level. We have to start from the micro level, as I said, slow peace. Because unless and until we attend to the micro level issues, we will not be able to answer the bigger questions or conflicts that are happening around us. If we are not able to bring peace within our family or peace in our own institutions, how can we contribute to the peace in the society at large? It's very easy to talk possibly about working at a bigger global level, but we need to have those strategies at place. We need to understand those strategies in a very micro level so that we can contribute at a bigger level. So that is an important point I like to underline today. Working from the micro level, working from our own inner self, that is the key point we need to remember. And with these young people with whom I was talking today, I had a deep discussion on how we can start working. In fact, we decided that we will start a community, say, on from the International Day of Non-Violence, that is October 2nd, that's coming. A community where we are not going to talk, we are going to share what we have done. That is the key. So we decided that, say, we are doing some random act of kindness, we are doing some random act of thanksgiving, we are doing some random act of helping someone overcome some conflicts, and we will be sharing those pointers with each other. that is what we decided. We said that we are not going to have discussions, we are going to share our own action work. And I think that is the key in today's world. What each one of us can do. Each one of us have an immense potential. We must know our own inner potential. We, each one of us, friends, have that potential in you to get across your inner prison and contribute in a solid way. So this particular community, these young people are building, I was so excited about it because we are going to talk about action and we are going to share action. So that is my, final points I want to share. The working in for our own inner self, working for action. Everything should be focused on the action that we do towards peace building, towards the promotion of nonviolent communication, and also reaching out and helping others also take up those small little direct action. Small action from every one of us will lead to bigger action. I think that is my point I wanted to share today. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Rosalind?
I think Rosaline is not here. So let me take over because the next agenda of the item is an important item, which is to have a discussion with our own, members of GPLT, as well as with some of the local grassroots peace builders, because it's very important that we understand the importance of the local work, the grassroots work, what the community peace builders are doing. So, on that note, we kind of invited some of our own members to discuss. So, and to share their insights. So, first, I would like to invite one of our own participants of the certificate course and who is now working together with GPLT. I would like to invite Dr. Rex to share a few words. I would like to give him about 5 minutes to share his insights about the work he is doing as a peace builder. So before I hand over the microphone to Rex, I would like to introduce him. Dr. Rex Uche Nutsbisko Nwanko is a passionate peace advocate from Nigeria. He has a lot of experience in conflict resolution and community development, working with a number of local organizations to promote interfaith dialogue and youth empowerment. He has a certificate in peace studies, and he believes that peace is a collective responsibility and that we all should work together to build inclusive, sustainable solutions for lasting peace. So I would like to invite Rex to share his insights about peace building in his local community and what are the challenges, what are the solutions, what are the success stories that he would like to present as a local and community peace builder from Nigeria. Over to you, Rex, my friend.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Janet. And thank you, Dr. Nikki, Ambassador Rossi, and the entire GPLT crew. I am humbled to speak today on the Global Peace Day. And also, I want to share my insights, my experiences, and challenges. I want to run them down quickly into 5 bullet points and also give some few suggestions running into about 10 or 14. So let me start by commending everybody here coming to listen to us. This is our first international outing to speak about peace. So my contributions to a culture of peace. As a professional peace builder and an ambassador, I integrate nonviolent communication principles into conflict resolution and team management. This is very, very important in NVC responsibilities. We foster inclusiveness and respectful work environments. Quickly, I also develop and implement projects promoting social and justice and equality. It is very, very good that we drive peace into our respective homes, into our respective workplaces. Even we need to drive peace with our enemies. By using nonviolent communication, I practice NVC by active listening and empathy. I equally do expression of honest feelings and needs when the needs arises. It also helps me to seek mutual beneficial solutions while I convert problems into solutions where I work. In servant leadership, it is an embodiment or a skill of prioritizing a team membership growth and well-being. With these skills, I was able to empower some of my colleagues in the Rotary community. We help them to do communication and feedback, and this has been working. As we are preparing to have an overall district training that is coming this October, it will be a place we expect about 150 or 200 participants who is going to be trained on nonviolent communication along the district level. We have about 6 districts in District 9127 Rotary International, Nigeria. With this training as an NVC community ambassador, I was able to volunteer, still volunteering in my organization, GPLT, and other organizations like NALDEF. It gives me an opportunity to facilitate community dialogue and conflict resolution. You see, there's no how peace can go without dialogue. It is a meaningful dialogue that brings about peace. You also, during the peace dialogue, the advocacy is very, very important for social justice and human rights advocacy. You need to employ these skills in order to bring the best out of the populace or the community where you find yourself working as a peace builder. So some of the impact I find I've made is through my work, we're able to resolve some conflicts, even in the family. We have built a strong, inclusive teams in the Rotary community, even in the religious body where I belong. It has given me an opportunity to inspire others to adopt nonviolent communication and servant leadership skills. As my personal growth, I will continue to learn and grow through nonviolent communication and servant leadership training. I will also strive to be building peace and doing workshops and conferences on NVC. I will continue to reflect the practice and self-care. The inspiration story, one meaningful experience was how I was able to drive into my global community and also my involvement with the Global Peace Let's Talk. These are my personal experience where the efforts are made in positive, where I did a positive impact. And as Janet have already said, you observed it and felt it. I'm not boasting, but this is what I've done already. So I will call for action. That is, I want everybody here to join me in creating a culture of peaceful culture. Help me to explore nonviolent communication and servant leadership skills. Please help me to volunteer with local peace organizations and even international organizations. Please also practice empathy and active listening when the time calls. Together, we can foster a more harmonious and peaceful world. Now, without wasting much of your time, I want to run down into the latest techniques to achieve global peace. Thank you for this attention. So one of the techniques to achieve global peace is diplomacy and international cooperation, whereby you do mediation and arbitration. You have to be neutral to the third party in facilitating and resolving conflicts. Second one is international dialogue. It is very, very important in forums, regular meetings between nations and to address pressing issues. Thirdly, global governance and reforms. It is very, very important to strengthen international institutions for effective conflict prevention. These are very, very important. Then conflict resolution and prevention. The fourth one, nonviolent communication, empathic communication to resolve conflicts peacefully. Conflict transformation, addressing underlying causes of conflict. You have to study the causes and the effects, and also solution. That is why we are all converting problems into solution to solve the worst issues. By the way, we are moved by challenges, and we convert challenges into solution. Educational and cultural exchange. These are some of the very important keys to solving global conflict and also making peace. Peaceful education, integrating peace studies into school curriculum. Cultural exchange program, promoting cross-cultural understanding. Global citizens, fostering global responsibility. This is also one of the important keys to global peace. Then technologically and innovation, you use digital diplomacy, leveraging social media and online platforms for peace building. Conflict mapping and analysis, use of data analysis to understand conflicts. Peace building apps, developing technology for conflict resolution. Then for grassroots and community-led initiatives, you use community-based peace building, such as empowering local communities to drive peace efforts. Youth-led peace initiatives, supporting youth leaders in peace building activities. Additional strategies, before I sum up, let me just sum them up in 6 bullet points. Economic development and poverty reduction, environmental sustainability and climate change mitigation, humanity rights protection and promotion, interfaith dialogue and cooperation, mindfulness and mediation for peace. Having said all this, I'm able to say that for you to form a formidable force in nonviolent communication, you must be able to convert global problems into solutions. Thank you, and I am humbled. Thank you, Global Peace Let's Talk team. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Rex, for your very important experience sharing. We are very happy to see the work that you are doing. We are inspired by the work you are doing. So I would like to congratulate you on the important work that you are doing and best wishes. So next, I would like to invite Dr. Franca Colosso from Italy, who will also share some of her work with regards to building peace. Let me introduce Dr. Franca Colosso. She's a member of the Union of International Architects. She's a poet, she's a novelist, retired teacher of technology, drawing and art and history also abroad on behalf of the Italian Foreign Office. And she's a multilingual author, translator. She is a blogger of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. She's a peace ambassador on behalf of several non-governmental organizations in India, Pakistan, United Kingdom, and she's also a nominated steward and advisor for climate change and contact person of the European Union in the Transparency Register. So I would like to invite her to share her insights on this very special day, International Day of Peace, and how her engagement with the local communities are making change worldwide. Over to you, Dr. Franca Colosso.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning to all of you. I should close my video because I have a problem twice and switching on the light. You don't see me very nice. So please let me close and I will read very quickly, okay? Thank you. Because I cook for the poor, to be active. What is peace? Activism for me, in my vision, because every Sunday I cook for the poor, and the malls here in my town close at 8:30 p.m. So I have to buy food for them. 11 years, so cooking every Sunday when I am here. Okay, I will begin soon. What is peace? Word often abused, violated, soaked with blood, loved and despised by the improper use of force. Peace stands as a harbinger of harmony and civil coexistence among all men. It is as precious as the water that quenches our thirst, and like the bread that nourishes us, also a symbol of sharing resources. But to cultivate peace and to ensure that it is lasting, it is necessary to struggle every day to preserve it. The ancient Romans used to say, si vis pacem para bellum. If you want peace, prepare for war. A Latin phrase of an unknown author, but very widespread among the proponents of peace. What do you mean by that? That we must arm ourselves in advance or devise strategies that discourage all attempts to usurp the right to peace from all men? Knowing by experience human nature and the cowardice that often characterize human actions, it becomes peace only with a targeted diplomatic and strategic capacity. In simple words, since Historia docet, history teaches the evolution of the path of human civilization, sometimes made of evolutionary leaps, sometimes of retrocessions, one realizes that much depends not only on one's historical cultural roots, but above all by the current educational system and by the objectives to be achieved in terms of tolerance, social justice, and peaceful coexistence. I would call these parameters democracy, but the latter is not enough on its own to defeat the ignorance that seems to increasingly lurk in our social systems because of the too rapid dissemination of information, often fake informations, often not conveyed correctly, and sometimes stupidly. Social media can be a double-edged tool. On the one hand, they convey information at the speed of light. On the other hand, they often send information of low cultural significance to meet the needs of the dominant financial, political power groups. Suffice it is to say that before 1990, all information on a global level traveled slowly before the advent and birth of the World Wide Web, 1991. But then we did not see a positive reflection of this on peace and on interconnection with humanitarian purposes. We should therefore move on to an epochal turning point in the current technological society to ensure that the network becomes an even more valid instrument of knowledge, an incubator of it, understood in a global sense without division between races, religions, gender, according to the dictates of human rights and to the base of the UN itself. The project of Divide et Impera, it's a Latin motto, divide and conquer is the translation, with which we want to mean that the division, the rivalry, the discord of the subject peoples is good for those who want to dominate them. Unfortunately, today, it is more than ever implemented by the powers, imperialistic powers. Just think of the various works hypothesized on or made to block the flow of migrants, Europe, to the rejections made at sea of masses of disparate people on boats, and the massacre that leaves us appealed since the Mare Nostrum, the Mediterranean once cradle of a civilization. Today, it has become a sepulchre of miles of poor shipwrecks. Today, Pope Francis preaches this from the seat of the papacy of Rome, but how many Christians follow him if his appeal remains unheard? We should ensure that all men of goodwill be the rainbow of light, an interreligious and intercultural bridge, leaving behind tribal odds or partisan interests. We hope that this truth will last even in view of the many deaths, mostly Palestinians. But other outbreaks of war should be turned off. And I am referring above all to Gaza and dozens of conflicts forgotten by the world, or embers burning under the ashes, such as, for example, in Sudan, and in so many places. In Ukraine, unfortunately, until the UN fully fulfills the function to which it has been called, and will leave power to the superpowers, often in the grip of the intemperance of the men who lead them, the world will not see the coveted peace. It is the economic interests of the warlords, the intensive exploitation of resources, the plundering of the riches of Africa and of countries rich in raw materials, the prevarication of man over man, the questions underlying past and modern conflicts. I quote for intellectual honesty the deportation of slaves from Africa to America, and European colonialism, which caused so much damage to the current world geopolitical order. Without going into detail, because a geopolitical treaty would be needed, I think to conclude that as long as factors linked to a purely consumerist and self-centered vision come into play, there will never be peace in the world. It is well known that winners get to the wagon and speak badly of the vanished. This has always been the case. I remember the effects of the imperialism of the great Roman Empire on our culture. The subjection of many peoples on the lack of knowledge of the devastating effects of the lack of humanity, of tolerance, of trust in others. The populism that many European countries are facing is the result of a senseless campaign aimed at pointing out the migrant as the cause of all the current problems generated by an unprecedented economic crisis after the devastating long wave of the 2008 American and the following pandemic crisis after COVID. So I have founded a group after COVID, what happens on LinkedIn. To conclude, I believe that peace organizations like Global Peace Let's Talk and others like mine, RRM3, Rinascimento, Renaissance, Millennium, must join forces and press on the UN change. I finish here because a long speech, no good. So sorry for switching off the light, but I have problems with my eyes. And finish it. I conclude here because... Sorry if I should go. I should go because today... no, I had a loss in my family. My son-in-law is American, so I speak also against Americans. No. I speak against all, especially Italians and the Western people, because it's so reality. Allora, a woman of 100 years died yesterday. I couldn't go shopping because a lot of messages, blah, blah, blah. So I am so sorry. I should go and buy some food for the poor. This is activism. A small one, but something good. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, all of you, for your kindness. Say goodbye. See you another time, and have a nice weekend. Bye.
Thank you so much,
Nikki.
Dr.
Thank you. Thank you.
So thank you for the insightful words and your ideas on this very special day. So next, I would like to invite another speaker from the community, actually a seasoned professional with a lot of experience. So now I would like to invite Professor Shainul Banji, who is a seasoned professional with a master's MSA in finance from the University of Strathclyde, Glasgow, UK, a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport, and having over 30 years working experience at the helm of various organizations. She's a member of the Global Ambassadors of Sustainability of United Arab Emirates and SPSC of UK, and also an ambassador for the SDGs and especially peace. So now I would like to invite Professor Shainul Banji to share some of her insights.
Thanks a lot for inviting me. Please excuse me for not switching on my camera. My network is just too low and I don't want my voice to shake. I'm really thankful to GPLT's administratives, Dr. Nikki, Dr. Janet, Dr. Vasu, and Dr. Rosa for inviting me to give a small talk and share my thoughts. The next slide, please. Next slide. Next slide, please.
Sorry for that because I'm having some technical difficulties changing the slides.
Okay. If you can just change to the the other one, which is this one, which has the SDGs SDGs diagram, so I can well explain to them.
Have we lost you, Doctor? Are you still there?
I think we have lost her, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, I can, because she's got very low signal where she is. Maybe we should go forward and then she can come back after. Janet? Janet? I think everybody's having a signal problem. Martin, are you here? Martin? Martin? Martin, can you hear us?
Hi, Dr. Nikki, can you hear me?
Yeah, we've lost the doctor.
I think Professor Shainul is back.
Yeah.
Let me try to unmute.
Rather put the next speaker on.
Okay. Let me check with the Professor Shainul.
I'm here, but I and I cannot speak.
Ma'am, maybe just do your presentation
please put
without
the
the slide. Yeah, without the slide. Just share your presentation. Because we're battling to get it on.
My presentation covers the importance of peace. Peace is the central SDG 13. No, it's SDG 16. We'd always talk of SDG 13 of climate, but the focus is SDG 16. This is the central of all SDGs. We have 17 SDGs in total, but SDG 16 is the focus of all the SDGs. Why? Because you can't attain a single SDG without having SDG 16, which is peace and justice. I wanted to show it to you in a chart, but unfortunately I cannot. So please excuse me, but I request the host and the administration to share my PowerPoint presentation in a PDF form to all the participants. We can't attain SDG 1, which is of poverty. We can't attain SDG 2, which is of hunger. We can't attain SDG 3, which is of health. We can't attain SDG 4, which is of education. We can't attain a single SDG without having SDG 16 fully or at least acceptable in the mainstream, because the entire we all need peace to attain other SDGs. Thank you for keeping this slide now. I will request you to move to the other slides. This was just my introduction, that I was one of the endorsers of the peace pledge. This is the NOV which has been very important, because SDG 16 has its symbol. Request you to go to the next slide, please. Yes, yes. Now here we can see that all the SDGs are focused towards the central part is peace. If we don't have peace, we can't attain circularity or any peace, any sort of SDG like decent jobs. It's not possible to attain decent jobs. We can't attain climate, can't perform any climate action. We can't have an SDG of lands, of oceans, because this all depends on SDGs. You might have heard about the Gaza and Ukraine wars. The 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 land gets eroded, the air gets eroded. How will you be working on the land when the land is not even approachable, is not accessible? So all the SDGs are very much focusing on SDG 16, which is in the central of all the SDGs. I hope this explains that peace is so much important, and I wish to thank you all for listening to me and giving me an opportunity to speak. I could not share the other slides, but you can always have that PDF form, and I thank
Thank you so much.
Dr. Nikki for giving me this opportunity. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Shainol Banji. Next, I would like to ask if we have Martin Kobia to share his insights. Martin, are you there? Martin is a community peace builder. He is one of our participants from the certificate course of nonviolent communication and servant leadership. So in his community, he's working on many areas such as youth empowerment, rural development, and health services. So Martin, over to you to share your insights.
Yes. Thank you, Ambassador Janice. I'm here to present my presentation for today for SDG about peace using nonviolent communication. Using nonviolent communication to advance the sustainable development goals. In an increasing interconnected world, the challenges we face, ranging from poverty, inequality to climate change, demand collaborative solution. The United Nations Sustainable Development for addressing this global issue by 2030. However, achieving this ambition will require more than just policy changes and technology. Advancement. It is another. nonviolence communication comes into play. Developed by James Marshall Rosberg in 1960s. Nonviolence communication is a communication process that emphasizes empathy, compassion, and understanding. Nonviolence is built on 4 key components. First, observation, noticing what is happening in a situation without judgment. Second is feelings, identifying and expressing feelings that arise from the underlying needs that gives rise to those feelings. And the fourth, request, making clear actionable requests to meet those needs. Nonviolence encourages individuals listening empathetically and understanding, which is essential for collaboration and conflict resolution within the community. The intersection of nonviolence and the SDG encompasses 17 goals aimed at creating a more sustainable, equitable, and peaceful world. Each goal addresses specific challenges, but they are interconnected, and progress in one area often influences others. Here is how nonviolence can support the achievement of these goals. Objective SDG 16. Nonviolence of peace are getting open dialogues and understanding. Nonviolence communication can help resolve conflicts and build trust among diverse groups in communities affected by violence or injustice. Nonviolence can serve as a tool and without resorting to aggression, devolution, and a stronger sense of community. Second, identity stand from a lack of understanding, had empathy between different social groups. Nonviolence communication encourages individuals to listen to the experiences and needs of others, fostering a culture of inclusivity. Nonviolence communication and create a more equitable society. For instance, in workplace, nonviolence communication can facilitate discussion about diversity and ensuring the actual voices are heard. Peace building, SDG 2 for change. And the nonviolence communication by promoting emotion among students, by incorporating nonviolence principles into curriculum school, can it create safe spaces for students to express their feelings and needs, leading to improve mental health and academic performance, fostering a supportive learning environment, promoting sustainable communities. SDs require resident. Local government communication can facilitate this collaboration by about community needs and communication. Community members can express their concern and desires without fear of judgment, leading to more effective and inclusive decision-making process as housing, station, and environmental 13 addressing climate action. Climate change is one of the most present challenges of our time, and addressing it requires collective action. Play a rising communities around climate action by fostering a sense of shared responsibility and agency, by encouraging individuals to express their feelings about climate change and their needs for a sustainable future. Nonviolence communication can innovative solution. Additionally, nonviolence communication can help mitigate conflict that arise from different views on environmental policies. To effectively integrate nonviolence communication into effort to achieve SDGs, several strategies can be employed. First one, training and workshop can help in organization and the community can offer training session and workshop on nonviolent skills needed for empathetic communication. This session can focus on specific SDGs, helping participants understand how nonviolent communication can be applied to address particular challenges. Facilitating community legal law principles can create spaces for open discussion about local issues related to the SDGs. These legal laws can help identify common goals and
Martin, we cannot clearly hear you.
Yes. So can I continue?
Okay, Martin. Yeah, Martin, thank you so much for your presentation and your insights. So thank you everyone for your insights, especially from the communities, from the global south and from different parts of the world. So next, I would like to take this moment as an opportunity to introduce the newly inducted. So today in this special celebration on International Day of Peace, I would like to induct the international ambassadors of nonviolent communication and servant leadership. So this would be done by Dr. Vedabaya Kundu and myself as the co-directors of the certificate course in nonviolent communication and servant leadership. Dr. Kundu, are you there? Dr. Kundu, are you there? Dr. I think Dr. Kundu is not here. So let me do the honors. So I hope you can hear me as well as see the presentation. So during the last few weeks, we were discussing about how we can use nonviolent communication and servant leadership in order to build a better world and to make peace possible within the local communities. Now I will introduce to you the applicants for the International Ambassadorship in Nonviolent Communication and Servant Leadership. This is a volunteer role to take the initiative and to take leadership in making the promotion of nonviolent communication and servant leadership possible. So I would like to introduce our newly inducted ambassadors. So first we have, on this slide, we have Harsha Vijaypala, Colette Suna, Kiza Moses, Tanuja Michael, and Dinga Sonse. Next, we have Aniofi Yem Adele, Apollina Mascabara, Sylvester Siddiq Khan, Che Festus, Dedon Omendi, George Kimani. Next, we have Alex McWakili, Imata Tarsan, Mahima Nagar, Jerwin Baila, Ashaq Malik, and Fridolin Nisu. Next, we have Jimba Jizi, Professor Shainol Banji, Dr. Nachulo Mushingo, Martin Kobia, Krivin Oyugi, and Dr. Rex Uchi. I hereby declare all of them as international ambassadors of nonviolent communication and servant leadership. I would like to invite Dr. Nikki Pina for a congratulatory remark on this occasion. Dr. Nikki would like to congratulate our newly appointed international ambassadors of nonviolent communication and servant leadership.
Absolutely. I'm so excited. I really am. So, congratulations. You have no idea how proud I am of each of you. You've taken a huge leap there. And your commitment has just been so outstanding, and you've worked so hard, and we're just so proud of you. Congratulations. It's going to be an exciting journey for you. Every step forward, you're going to learn something new until you're going to be just keep up the crop of ambassadors. Thank you so much. Janet, thank you so much for your leadership in this, and Dr. Metabase. It's been absolutely amazing. It's such a successful program. Thank you. Well done, all you ambassadors. Well done.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nikki, for your congratulatory message. So, over the last few weeks, so many applications for these international ambassadors on nonviolent communication and servant leadership, the participants of the certificate course. Our certificate course not only focused on creating education awareness, but also to inspire people to do certain activities in their communities. So as a result, we have been successful over the last few weeks. We have worked with several of these people in order to make change in their communities. We had a successful project with the prison services led by Kriveen. We had a successful program with Rex. We also are
We're having signal problems. I think everybody's battling a little bit. Just give him a minute. Jesse Gimba, I'm very glad you got back on. Thank you. So now our ambassadors are going to be all around the world. Is that not just amazing? Yeah.
It's just amazing.
Yeah, no. I'm really, you have no idea how proud I am of all of you. I know that it was difficult. It was a long 5 weeks, long sessions, but none of you gave up. All of you pushed forward, and that is just simply awesome. Yeah. So well done with that. While we're waiting, would anybody like to say anything? Rex?
Thank you very much, Global Peace Let's Talk. I appreciate Dr. Nikki, our mentors, Ambassador Janet and Dr. Kundu, even Rosie, the communication specialist, an orator, and the rest of the GPLT team. We are grateful for the opportunity you gave us to thrive. It is my singular humbleness to express my profound gratitude for you making it to happen. From community ambassador to international ambassador, it's not a small, it's not a joke. So we are very, very grateful. And we'll be looking forward to doing more. As you inspire us and motivate us, we'll be giving you a positive impact and the feedback. Like I said, in the coming weeks, we'll be running a certificate course in Nigeria with a Rotary International. We'll be expecting from 120 to 150, for 120 to 200 participants in non-violent communication across all the districts. The training is specifically for Rotary leaders, Rotary Club presidents, and the district members. And also in the coming days, we'll run it down to certify the course. Courtesy of Ambassador Janet, she'll be fronting that. So I'm grateful. I'm full of, I'm lost of words. I'm humble. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, we seem to be having some serious network issues. And Janet hasn't come back on yet. So we're going to do this. Is there anybody else who would like to say something? Sylvestri, please. You're welcome. Sylvestri? Can you hear us, Sylvestri? I was just talking earlier about challenges. We've had some very little challenges today, but everybody's just stayed together, and for that just shows you how awesome you all are. Okay, I think Sylvester is trying to find signals. Is there anybody else while we're waiting that'd like to say anything? Jessie, go ahead. Go ahead, Jessie. Sylvester and Jessie, put your microphones on. Okay. Hold on a sec. See if I can do it from my side. Okay, we're having lots of challenges on the technical side. Yeah, because we're trying to unmute Jetty and it's not unmuting. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to carry on the conversation on the group so that you can share your questions there. And then we will arrange a special another Zoom so that we can all get together again and just to round this off properly. But for now, we're having technical issues. Is that okay? You all got that?
Hello, Mom Nikki.
Hello. Rose, you're back.
Yeah,
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah, I'm back.
And
Sorry, I had some
oh,
technical
and Janet.
issues.
Okay. You can. They're battling with sound, Rose.
I'm
Thank
very
you so
sorry for the
much.
technical issues. My Zoom has been freezing, so I don't know if we can proceed.
Okay,
Okay, I think
Jesse's trying to talk. Yeah.
yeah.
All
So I
right,
think
Janet
we
is
have
right back,
a
so
few
I
speakers.
hand it over.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So I have got the host access, so I can enable everyone to unmute themselves. Yes, that has been done. So if anybody wants to share something, now it's the time. Yes,
There's a
Sylvester,
hand
you
up.
can
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yes. Good afternoon from Sierra Leone. I am Ambassador Sidi Mohamed Kalon. I want to toe line with Dr. Rex Uchi to express our gratitude and our sincere appreciation for actually considering us for this voluntary role as ambassadors for nonviolent communication and servant leadership. For the past weeks, having completed the course in the servant leadership and nonviolent communication, I have been actively engaged in ensuring that we bring peace education to our communities, to our doorsteps, because you all agree with me that Sierra Leone is a post-war country. You know, after the 10 years of senseless civil war, the culture of violence increased among the people. One group of people that we are having a whole lot of problem with are young people we call the commercial motorbike riders. These are people who ride commercial motorbikes, you know, they are almost synonymous to violence. But with the skills and expertise that I got from that training, I have been able to engage a lot of them, to empower them, to transform the principles of nonviolent communication and servant leadership into practice. And now I am actually seeing the outcome. We'll also be moving to schools to see how we build what we call peace clubs, so that we include what we call catch them young, to imbibe that culture of nonviolent communication and servant leadership into school pupils, so that when they grow up with that culture. And now that we have been, appointed or awarded as ambassadors, we will continue to ask for your support, to solicit support, both technically and otherwise, to help us to ensure that we actually, propagate this idea of nonviolent communication and servant leadership. On that note, I want to thank all of you, Dr. Nikki, Dr. Kundu, Dr. Janet, and Madam Oba, and Dr. Mansi, all the team at Global Peace Let's Talk. It's indeed a very big excitement. I am highly elated to be one of the international ambassadors for nonviolent communication and servant leadership in Sierra Leone in West Africa. Being the first international peace ambassador, I am really, really happy. And I will tell you that I will really try to unfold that skills that I learned from the Peace Let's Talk. Thank you, Dr. Nikki and your team. Thank you, Dr. Madam, has actually helped us to come thus far. Thank you so much. I salute you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sylvester, for your kind remarks. I would like to give the opportunity to one or two more international ambassadors. I think we have Professor Shainul Banji.
Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to keep all of your heads high that I will do something meaningful. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for your kind remarks. Suna, Colette, you can speak now.
All right, good evening, everyone. I am Colette Suna Nyangwe, newly International Ambassador for Peace. I wish to say that I am so grateful for this honor to be called an Ambassador for Peace. Ever since I received the training on nonviolent communication and servant leadership, peace has never ceased from my mouth. Anywhere I find myself, I talk peace. At home, I talk peace. In my social gathering, I talk peace. In my place of work, I talk peace. And I just want to say that as this title has been bestowed on me, I will multiply my talk of peace. Together we can make it. So I just want to say that you can count on me, and I call on your support so that we can go very far. Thank you so much.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much. Next, Gervin, would you like to speak in less than 1 minute, please, Gervin?
Hello, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon from around the world. My name is Jervin Baila, and I'm speaking from Nakivale Refugee Settlement in Uganda. First of all, I'd like to say thank you so much to the whole team at Global Peace Let Us Talk for this opportunity that they have given us. We have really learned a lot through this course of nonviolent communication and servant leadership. As a teacher and a peace ambassador, it has really shaped me. It has really added a lot of skills to me. And in my endeavor to preaching peace in the community where I am. So I would like to say thank you for being awarded this opportunity, and also by being nominated as a nonviolent communication and servant leadership ambassador. I would like to say that I would really appreciate it. I will take it forward, because on this day, this morning, I had the opportunity to share with local leaders and church leaders and youth who are working in some community-based organizations. We had a session today about servant leadership and nonviolent communication. The local leaders really appreciated it, and they begged us if we could really expand it to bigger areas of Nakivale Refugee Settlement, if we could really have that opportunity to train more people. So it is really amazing, because it is something new, something that they have never seen. They really appreciated it. So all these things and all this big impact goes back to the Global Peace Let Us Talk, because without Global Peace Let Us Talk, I wouldn't be able to do this. We wouldn't be able to do this. So I'm looking forward to keeping going forward and creating more impact in Nakivale Refugee Settlement. And why not even beyond the borders of Nakivale Refugee Settlement in the months to come. So we'd like to expand it to other places of Uganda, to move from one place to another place, from one refugee settlement to another, because we have come to understand that in refugee settlements, people really need these leadership skills. People really need these trainings on peace building, but most of the times people don't get really these opportunities. So as a global peace ambassador, I really say thank you so much. I will take that forward, and it will really be so glad if we create more impact in the community. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Gerwin. In the interest of time, I would like to give the opportunity to one more person. Harsha Vijaypala, would you like to speak in less than 1 minute, please?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all of you. I am Harsha Vijaypala from Sri Lanka. So this is a great opportunity to me as well as our all collegians for delivering a vote of thanks to Global Peace Let's Talk. So firstly, I extend my sincere thanks to Global Peace Let's Talk for offering this valuable opportunity for us to as inducted in the International Ambassador in Nonviolent Communications and Servant Leaderships. So, I would like to express my gratitude, our incredible mentors and facilitators, Mr. Janis sir and Dr. Nikki madam. So, to share their wisdoms, experience, the insight throughout this journey. So, as I embark on this new role as an ambassador, I committed to not only myself and all the ambassadors to their getting their ambassadorships, promoting the principles of nonviolent communications and servant leaderships. So we are continue to advocate for peace, justice, and human dignity, striving to build bridge where there are divides and to serve those who need it most. Thank you once again for this incredible honor, and I look forward to contributing noble missions of global peace-led talk and working alongside each of you to make lasting impact. Thank you, sir. Thank you, madam.
Thank you so much, Harsha, for your insights. So before we move on to the vote of thanks, I would like to invite everybody to switch on their camera for a group picture so that we can keep our memories intact. So I would like to request everyone to switch on their cameras for the next 1 minute so that we can quickly take some snapshots of today's attendees. Okay, so I'm going to take the picture, the first screen. There are 2 screens, so please smile.
Where's your picture?
Can you see me? All right, so I think all right, thank you so much. I've taken the photos. So I think we have had a 2 hours plus discussion on this very special day, the International Day of Peace. So this is a very important day because it is the day where we celebrate and commemorate the importance of peace for the world. So a very special feature of today's event was the induction of the international ambassadors of nonviolent communication and servant leadership, because when we talk about peace, we need to speak about nonviolent communication, because the way we interact with each other is communication. And if we can make our communication non-violent, if we can promote non-violent communication, we are building peace. And also at the same time, we have a lot of problems: economic, social, political, cultural, environmental, legal, technological. So many problems are there in the world. And to find solutions to these problems, we need leadership. And if I ask you, what kind of leadership do we need? I believe all of you will tell we need servant leaders, those who would like to be in service so that we can solve the problems and take humanity, peace, development ahead. So that's why we thought of inducting these very special ambassadors today during our International Day of Peace online forum. So congratulations to the newly inducted international ambassadors. So let me deliver the vote of thanks. So first of all, I would like to pay my special thanks to our keynote speaker, our guiding light, Dr. Nikki DiPina. Her intentions of servant leadership to all of you. She is one of the best examples of servant leadership that I have met in my life, because we are trying to get everybody together to facilitate. This is a volunteer-led movement, so all of us are volunteering. Why are we volunteering? To make the world a better place. It's not just for anybody of us personally, it's to make the world a better place. So thank you, Dr. Nikki Pina, for your very important keynote speech, as well as your leadership throughout Global Peace Let's Talk. Secondly, I would like to thank the speakers, Dr. Vedabayas Kundu, as well as our speaker who spoke about the importance of women as catalysts for peace. That was a very important delivery, and that also was very much helping us to understand that women are playing a very important role. So I would like to thank her for her insights. Her name is Christelle Bay Chongwain. So thank you so much, Christelle, for your insights. Then I would like to also thank our speakers from the communities, Dr. Franca Colosso, Dr. Rex Nawanko, Professor Shainul Banji, Martin Kobia, especially because of their commitment. Also, I would like to thank over to Dr. Vedabayas Kundu, then Rose Oba for their contributions to this program, and also to all the participants here. Without our amazing participants, this would not have been possible. So thank you for the international ambassadors of nonviolent communication and servant leadership. This is not just a title, this is a heavy responsibility. I believe you will understand that, because you're going to practice what we learned through the nonviolent communication and servant leadership course, because we want you to take leadership, some community activities in your capacity can do to promote nonviolent communication and servant leadership. As a volunteer, you can do many things. So I would like to invite you to take that leadership. So I think I have thanked everybody who are here. So it's an amazing day. So happy International Day of Peace to everyone. Let's spread peace and let's win the world to make the world a better place. Thank you so much. So I think we can sign off today. Bye-bye. Have a nice weekend and enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you.